Hi there, are you ready to apply for your first U.S. passport? In this video, I'll walk you step by step through the application process. At the end of this video, I'll share 6 of the common mistakes that are made during the process, so make sure that you watch until the end. This will save you some time and also keep you from taking the walk of shame from the passport office.
Trip in Southeast Asia.
Thanks for joining me here at the Calvin Chronicles. If this is your first time to the channel and you enjoy travel, history, and photography, consider subscribing so that you'll be the first to hear about upcoming videos. Passports have been in use in the United States dating back to the Revolutionary War. The earliest uses were by diplomats like Benjamin Franklin, who was visiting France to gain allies. What's funny about this is that this was before photography, so what the passport was just a written description of the person that was holding it. While you might not have international travel plans in your immediate future, the best time to apply for a passport is when you're not in a rush to receive it. By starting the process well before you need your passport, you can save on expedite fees, which can be as much as 50% of the application fee. Another bonus in applying before you have a trip plan is saving yourself the worry of whether your passport will come in time for your trip. So let's get started with the application process. Step 1 is to collect your citizenship and identification documents. And I list this as step 1 because you may not have these in your possession and it'll take time to obtain them, so you should start here. For your citizenship document, you'll need to provide a birth certificate, and this needs to be the original document or a certified copy that will come from your state or county, depending on where your birth certificate is registered. It'll have the embossed symbol that you'll be able to rub your finger across and feel the indentions on that. You cannot provide a photocopy as your document. You will have to provide a copy. That will be either a photocopy for the second document, or you can provide another certified copy. If you do provide 2 certified copies, one of those will be returned to you. If you need additional information on getting your birth certificate in your state, I provided some links in the description of the video below. In addition to your birth certificate, in order to prove your identity for your passport, you'll need to provide a government-issued photo ID. Examples of approved identification are a driver's license or ID from your state, a military ID, a certificate of naturalization, a certificate of citizenship, or a federal, state, or municipal employee ID. During your passport application appointment, you will show this ID to the agent that is accepting your application. A copy of this ID will be submitted along with your application. Be sure to have a copy of the front and back of the ID, and to not do that on like a front and back. It has to be either 2 pages, one with the front and one with the back, or have the front and back on the same side of the paper that you'll submit along with your application. So important reminders on your documents: they must be on standard 8.5 by 11 copy paper, they must be single-sided, and you must bring these copies with you to your appointment. Do not count on the passport office providing these copies for you. So once you have your citizenship and identification documents in order, step 2 is to complete your passport application form. The form to request a new U.S. passport is form DS-11. The PDF form is 6 pages, but most of that is instructions. It's pretty self-explanatory to get through, although if you were born outside of the U.S., you will want to pay a little extra attention to those instructions. While the application can be completed by hand, forms that are incomplete, illegible, or have correction marks, those can lead to delays or denials of your application. Instead, I strongly recommend using the online form on the Department of State website. This will help you with the mandatory fields as well as legibility. You'll be able to print out copies once you are done. I recommend printing out 2 copies because if there's questions after you submit the application, you'll have a copy to reference later. The fee for your passport will depend on the options that you choose on the application form regarding the type of passport that you'd like to receive. The standard passport book will take care of all of your travel needs, but you might wish to add a passport card as well. And so this is your passport book, and this has your standard pages for your visa stamps, that you can use for all of your international travel. And this is a passport card, and this is similar to a driver's license, or the size of a driver's license, and will fit into your wallet. And this is valid for any travel between Mexico or to Canada, and also for any cruises that depart and return to the United States. You can also select both, which means that you are requesting both the passport book and the passport card. If you're only going to get one document, the passport book is the way to go because it's the most versatile and it covers all of your travel needs. I recommend getting both. Even though there is an additional cost in getting the passport card, it's currently $30 for an adult. I think it's well worth the money. It can be used as another form of ID. While the card can't be used for air travel, it can come in handy as additional proof of citizenship if you happen to lose your passport book while you're overseas. One quick tip on the passport card is if you do get both, I don't know whose idea this was, but the passport number on the book and the card, they're different. So do not use the passport card to check in for your flight, or this will cause you a bad joke when you attempt to check in. The other choice that you'll have to make on your application is whether to get the standard book, which has 28 pages, or the large book that has 52 pages. On this choice, there's not an additional fee involved, but there are some things to consider. So while passports are valid for 10 years, if your pace of travel takes you through that sooner, then you'll have to renew sooner, and there is a fee associated with renewing your passport. Depending on the country that you go to, a visa stamp, it might take up just a quarter of the page, it might take up the full page, you don't know. Some countries will require up to 4 blank pages in your passport in order to gain entry. And you also have to consider the size. If you get the larger book, that means a larger document for you to deal with. So those are just some things that you need to consider to make the best choice for you. Everybody's situation will be different, but for reference, on my current passport, I've used it 22 times in 6 years, and I have 11 full pages and I have 2 half pages remaining. And the most important thing on your application form is do not sign your application until you get to your appointment. I'm pretty sure you guessed what one of the common mistakes are already. Okay, we've got the citizenship and ID taken care of. We've got our form completed. Next up is our passport photo. While you can take your own passport photo against a white background, or you can go to a business that provides passport photo services like a chain pharmacy. One thing that won't work is a selfie. I promise you I did not do this in my passport application, but I do recommend that you get your passport photo taken at the acceptance facility where you submit your application. Cost can vary. Mine was $10, but they're usually going to be less than if you go to a business specifically for your passport photo. The reason I recommend this is if you take your photo wrong or a third party does it incorrectly, your photo is going to get rejected, and this will mean a longer application processing time. Reasons that photos can be rejected are wrong size, too much blank space, wrong background, too bright of a background, too dark of a background, and also wearing glasses. And the reason I'm stressing this so much is that the Department of State, they advised that in 2017 that nearly 250,000 photos were rejected. Okay, so we've made it through all the boring stuff. We got our documents taken care of, we got our forms all filled out, and now it's time for the fun stuff, the passport application appointment. New passport applications must be made in person at an acceptance facility. This is usually going to be a county clerk, local post office, or the public library. During your appointment, your identity documents and citizenship documents will be verified. Your citizenship documents, identification copies, your passport photo, your application, and your application payment are collected and then mailed to the Department of State for processing. You'll also pay your execution fee separately. For my appointment, with my documentation, my application form, and my payment in order, I was in and out within 10 minutes. Most acceptance facilities require an appointment. In the video description below, I have a link for you to find resources to schedule your appointment. For your selected location, you'll find specific information information like their hours of operation, contact information, and how to schedule your appointment, as well as how to pay for your execution fee. If you're following my advice and having your passport photo taken at the acceptance facility, in the search criteria for a location near you, be sure to select the photo on site option. We covered a lot of information, so here's a quick checklist for you. You can even take a screenshot of this so that you have this for later. Quick note for families: if you are getting passports for multiple family members, it's important that every family member is present, and this does include infants. Another thing to note is for applications for children under 16, both parents need to be present for the passport appointment, although there are provisions in case this is not possible. Another important thing to note is that each person has to fill out a separate application for their passport, and what this means is that also requires a separate payment. So if you have a family of 4, not only does that require 4 applications, that's also going to require 4 separate payments like checks or money orders. For your execution fee and your execution fee only, your acceptance facility might accept a combined payment if you've got multiple applications. They might accept a different form of payment than check or money order, but don't count on that. Contact them directly to find out if you are interested in taking up one of these options. Well, there you have it. We've covered all of the steps that you need to have a successful passport application appointment. I do have additional links for you in the video description below. Feel free to check that out for any additional information. Feel free to reach out to me if there's any additional questions that you feel that I didn't cover, and I can maybe address those in additional comments of the video. I did say that I would cover the 6 common mistakes that are made during a passport application, and here we go. So at this point, I probably don't even have to mention the first common mistake, but the first common passport application mistake is signing the application before the appointment. The reason that you don't want to do this is part of the verification process is verifying the person who is applying for the passport. So they want to see the person sign the application on site. So that's why you do not want to sign the application prior to your appointment. Sign it when you're asked to do so by the passport acceptance agent. Common mistake number 2 is picture errors. In 2017, the Department of State rejected almost 250,000 photos for passport applications. This is why I recommend using an acceptance facility to take your photos. Mistake number 3 is wrong form of payment or combined payments. For passport applications, payment must be made with a check or money order. The execution fee must be paid separately from the application fee and will usually have to be paid in the same manner, although the acceptance facility may accept a separate payment for that part only, not for the application fee, but for the acceptance fee, but you have to check with them directly. Mistake number 4 is not supplying a original or certified embossed copy of your citizenship documents. Mistake number 5 is not bringing copies of your citizenship document and your identifying documents. You must count on providing these on your own in order to make sure that you have a successful appointment. You might be able to get copies on site if you forget, but you just can't count on it. So bring your copies, single side for all of your copies. And mistake number 6 is simply just incomplete information. As I mentioned, you can complete the form by hand if you would like to. I recommend using the online form so that you make sure that you don't miss any mandatory fields. That also helps with legibility so you don't run into that roadblock. So just incomplete information is mistake number 6. I hope that this information makes your process for applying for your first U.S. passport run much smoother. If you use this information to apply for your passport, please let me know. Tell me in the comments below. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.